games you've had offensive issues for different reasons, like you said, turnovers. I mean, are you concerned or surprised after 2 games that it's looked so disjointed?
No, because people are going to look back at 2 games last year and say something very similar, so these reactions always happen when you lose a game. It's a long season. That's what we tell our players. We're just going to take ownership in these losses and continue to get better. We know that we have a good football team. We've shot ourselves in the foot a little bit early on here in 2 games. Long season yet to go, and our guys are going to continue to improve and play better and get some wins.
Spoken like a man who received a contract extension in the offseason. He doesn't seem all that troubled by the fact that the Bengals have crapped the bed the first 2 weeks. I mean, I can't remember if they won their second game last year, but I definitely remember they won their first game last year in overtime. I have a feeling they did start 2-0, but I would have to confirm that. I'm violating my advice to Myles to just say it with authority and act like you're right. But, look, I think of something that Chris Sims and I talk about every year, and this was something that he shared with me when he started with us 5 years ago, the idea that as you start piling up losses to start a season, you develop a greater sense of urgency and concern, and it becomes panic. And, the Bengals are now 0-2. They're going to be pressing to get that 3rd win, and they didn't seem to learn anything from what went wrong week 1 against the Steelers. That offensive line is not good. It's not good enough. Maybe they'll be better. And, they changed out 4 of the starters, which tells you how bad it was last year. But so far, it's not keeping Joe Burrow from getting hit, from getting sacked, and it's keeping the team from scoring points.
But Mike, I don't think it's just the offensive line at this point. MDS pointed this out in a post on PFT this morning. Joe Burrow right now is on pace to get sacked a preposterous 111 times this season. The record is 76, and that was on David Carr back with the expansion Houston Texans in 2002 when I was in 5th grade. But look, when you're talking about the Bengals and Burrow right now, it's like a systemic problem. It's not just, the offensive line doesn't do X, Y, Z. It's Joe Burrow sometimes holds on to the ball too long. It's sometimes the protection isn't quite right at the snap, so they've got a lot of things that they've got to really correct and look at. And frankly, I think that they should just go to more of a quick passing game and think of it more as you've got to speed up that clock in Joe Burrow's head. Let's get the ball out of his hands quickly. We've got Jamar Chase. We've got T. Higgins. We've got Tyler Boyd. We've got Joe Mixon. We've got weapons. Just speed the darn thing up so you prevent him from getting hit so much, because he's not going to last the whole season if he keeps getting hit like this. You can't take 13 sacks in the first 2 weeks of the season and then expect that everything is just going to be fine going forward. It's not. It's not fine now. You're 0-2. Something's got to change.
By the way, they followed their week 1 win last year over the Vikings with a loss at Chicago. They were 3-1. They lost
game.
2 in a row twice last year. They lost to the Jets in the put Mike White in the Hall of Fame game, then lost to Cleveland 41-16. Then they lost to the Chargers and the 49ers back-to-back weeks, an overtime loss at home to the 49ers. So they have lost 2 in a row before, but you start 0-2. It's the first time since 1999 defending AFC champions started 0-2, and that was the Bubby Brister year for the Denver Broncos after John Elway retired after 2 straight championships in Denver. So not good company to be in, because it ain't Bubby Brister playing quarterback. It's Joe Burrow under center for the Bengals. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.